Ladies and gentlemen, life is not fair, and the truth of this is felt most profoundly by those who must shoulder their burdens in silence, without the safety net of support. Imagine a woman standing in the eye of life's storm, her strength unacknowledged, her struggles unseen, her victories uncelebrated. This is the reality for many who walk a path filled with invisible battles. Yet within that silence lies something extraordinary: resilience, courage, and the capacity to grow stronger under the weight of it all. The silent battle of a woman with no support is not just a story of struggle. It's a testament to the human spirit, to the capacity for transformation when the odds are against you. Isolation is a heavy burden to bear, especially in a world where connection is often touted as the essence of human fulfillment. Yet for some, isolation isn't a choice, it's a circumstance forced upon them by life's relentless trials, by circumstances they didn't create but must endure. The weight of this isolation isn't just physical, it's deeply emotional and psychological. Imagine waking up each day knowing that the challenges ahead are yours alone to face, that there's no one to lean on, no one to share your fears, your doubts, or even your small victories. The absence of support doesn't just leave a void, it creates an echo, a constant reminder of the solitude in which you fight your battles. The weight of isolation is profound, and it seeps into every aspect of life. It's not just the absence of someone to help shoulder the load, it's the absence of someone to witness the effort it takes to keep moving forward. There's an unspoken validation that comes from being seen, from knowing that someone recognizes the magnitude of what you're enduring. When that's missing, the burden grows heavier, not because the tasks themselves are insurmountable, but because the lack of recognition makes it feel as though your struggle is invisible, insignificant. And yet, it isn't. The effort it takes to rise each day, to persevere, to keep striving in the face of this solitude, that effort is monumental. What's often misunderstood about those who carry this weight is the complexity of their resilience. It's easy to assume that isolation breeds despair, and while that can be true, it also breeds something else: a raw, unfiltered determination. When no one is there to catch you, you learn to catch yourself. When no one is there to guide you, you learn to navigate the darkness alone. This doesn't make the journey easier, but it does make you stronger in ways you might not even realize. Strength forged in isolation is not just about surviving, it's about developing the capacity to thrive in conditions that would break most people. But the psychological toll cannot be ignored. There's a profound loneliness that accompanies isolation, a loneliness that isn't about being alone, but about feeling unknown. It's the sense that no one truly understands the depth of your struggle, that your battles exist in a vacuum where their significance is lost to the world. This loneliness can be crippling, but it can also be transformative. It forces a kind of introspection that few are ever compelled to undertake. It compels you to confront the parts of yourself that you might otherwise avoid, to wrestle with your fears, your insecurities, and your doubts. And in doing so, it presents an opportunity for profound self-discovery. Isolation tests the limits of your endurance, but it also reveals the vastness of your potential. It strips away the distractions, the noise, the superficial comforts, and leaves you face to face with yourself. In that confrontation, there is pain, but there is also power. You begin to realize that the weight you carry, while heavy, is not immovable. You learn to shift it, to redistribute it, to manage it in ways that make it bearable, even if only momentarily. And each moment of bearing it, each step forward despite it, builds a resilience that becomes a part of who you are. There's a paradox in isolation that is difficult to articulate but impossible to ignore. While it alienates you from others, it also connects you to something deeper within yourself. It reveals the depths of your strength, the breadth of your capacity for growth, and the unyielding nature of your spirit. It shows you that while you may be alone in your struggle, you are not powerless. You are not defined by the absence of support, but by the presence of your determination. To carry the weight of isolation is to engage in a silent battle that most will never see, let alone understand. It's a battle fought not with the intention of recognition, but with the intention of survival, of perseverance, of proving to yourself that you are capable of enduring. And in that endurance, there is triumph. Not the kind of triumph that's celebrated publicly, but the kind that resonates deeply within you, the kind that reminds you of your strength, your worth, and your ability to rise no matter how heavy the weight becomes. While the weight of isolation is undeniably heavy, it is also transformative, shapes you in ways that are difficult to articulate but impossible to ignore. It reveals the depths of your courage, the vastness of your resilience, and the unshakable strength of your spirit. It is a burden, yes, but it is also a testament to your capacity to endure, to grow, and to thrive even in the face of the most challenging circumstances. And that, perhaps, is the most profound truth of all. Resilience is a word often spoken but rarely understood in its truest sense. It's easy to romanticize the idea of perseverance, to paint it as an act of effortless strength, but anyone who has truly lived it knows that resilience is forged in fire. It's not an innate quality that some possess and others don't. It's the product struggle of hardship, of facing challenges so immense that they threaten to consume you. And yet, in the face of these challenges, something remarkable happens. You adapt, you endure, and you emerge stronger than you ever thought possible. This is the power of resilience, and it is often born in silence, in solitude, and in the depths of the most trying circumstances. To understand resilience, one must first acknowledge the pain that gives birth to it. Pain is the great equalizer. It humbles us, it strips away pretense, and it forces us to confront the raw, unfiltered reality of our existence. For a woman battling life's hardships without support, this pain is compounded by the knowledge that she must navigate alone. There is no safety net, no comforting presence to share the load. In these moments, the temptation to give in, to let the weight of it all pull you under, can be overwhelming. But it's precisely in these moments that resilience begins to take shape. Resilience isn't about denying the pain or pretending it doesn't exist. It's about acknowledging it, facing it head on, and refusing to let it define you. It's about standing in the midst of the storm and saying, "This will not break me." This defiance, this refusal to be defeated, is the seed from which resilience grows. It's not about being unshakable or invincible. It's about being willing to keep going, even when every part of you wants to give up. There's a transformation that occurs when you realize that no one is coming to save you. It's a harsh reality, but it's also liberating. When you stop waiting for rescue, you begin to see that you are capable of saving yourself. You discover strength you didn't know you had, and you learn to rely on it. This self-reliance is the foundation of resilience. It's not about shutting others out or refusing help when it's offered. It's about understanding that your ability to endure and overcome from within you, not from external sources. The process of building resilience is not linear. It's messy, it's painful, and it's often 2 steps forward and 1 step back. There will be moments of doubt, moments when the weight feels unbearable, moments when you question whether it's worth it to keep fighting. But resilience isn't about never faltering, it's about rising each time you fall. It's about recognizing that setbacks are not failures, but opportunities to learn, to grow, and to become stronger. One of the most profound aspects of resilience is the way it changes your perspective. When you've endured hardship and come out the other side, you begin to see challenges differently. What once seemed insurmountable now feels manageable. What once terrified you now feels like an opportunity to prove your strength. This shift in perspective is not just empowering, it's transformative. It allows you to face life with a sense of courage and confidence that can only come from having been tested and found capable. Resilience is also deeply connected to identity. When you navigate life's challenges without support, you are forced to confront who you are at your core. Without the noise of others' expectations or the distractions of external validation, you begin to see yourself more clearly. This self-awareness is both a gift and a challenge. It requires you to take responsibility for your life, to own your choices, and to accept the consequences of those choices. But it also gives you the freedom to define yourself on your own terms, to build a life that reflects your values, your strengths, and your dreams. In the end, resilience is not just about surviving hardship, it's about being transformed by it. It's about emerging from the fire not as you were before, but as something stronger, wiser, and more capable. It's about recognizing that while the journey may be painful, it is also profoundly meaningful. It's about understanding that the strength you gain from enduring life's challenges is not just for your own benefit, but can also inspire and uplift others. The power of resilience lies in its ability to turn pain into growth, to transform struggle into strength, and to turn moments of despair into opportunities for triumph. It's not an easy path, but it is a path worth walking. Because at the end of it, you will find not just a stronger version of yourself, but a deeper understanding of your own capacity for greatness. And that is a victory worth striving for. Self-worth is a delicate and complex construct shaped by countless factors, many of which remain unseen, yet profoundly influence our lives. It's one of the most vital components of a fulfilled and meaningful existence, yet it's also one of the most fragile. For a woman navigating life without support, the challenge of maintaining a strong sense of self-worth is immense. The world can feel like a relentless critic, quick to point out flaws and slow to recognize strengths. And when no one is there to counterbalance that narrative, to affirm your value, it's all too easy to internalize the negativity and question your worth. The journey to understanding and embracing your intrinsic value is not an easy one. It demands a level of introspection that can be both uncomfortable and illuminating. It requires peeling back layers of societal conditioning, expectations, and self-doubt to reveal the core of who you are. This is no small task. It's a battle against external voices that tell you you're not enough and internal voices that echo the same. But the truth is, your worth isn't something that can be given or taken away by others. It's inherent. It's rooted in your humanity, in your capacity to think, to feel, to create, and to endure. When you're navigating life without support, it's easy to fall into the trap of measuring your worth by external standards, by your achievements, your appearance, your relationships, or your ability to meet the expectations of others. These measures are seductive because they offer tangible markers of success, but they are also fleeting and unstable. Achievements can be forgotten, appearances change, relationships end, and expectations shift. If your self-worth is tied to these external markers, it will always be at the mercy of forces beyond your control. True self-worth, however, is independent of external validation. It's rooted in the recognition that your value doesn't come from what you do or what you have, but from who you are. It's a quiet confidence that comes from knowing your strengths, accepting your weaknesses, and understanding that you are worthy of love and respect simply because you exist. This kind of self-worth is unshakable. It provides a foundation that can withstand the storms of life, even when those storms leave you standing alone. But cultivating this kind of self-worth is no easy feat, especially when you're facing life's challenges without support. It requires a deliberate and ongoing effort to reframe how you see yourself and your circumstances. It means learning to separate your worth from your circumstances, to see your struggles not as a reflection of your inadequacy, but as evidence of your strength. It means recognizing that the mere fact that you continue to show up, to persevere, and to strive is a testament to your value. One of the most powerful tools in this journey is self-compassion. It's the ability to treat yourself with the same kindness and understanding that you would offer to a friend. When you're struggling, it's all too easy to be your harshest critic, to berate yourself for not doing better, for not being stronger, for not having it all together. But this kind of self-criticism only compounds the challenges you're facing. Self-compassion, on the other hand, allows you to acknowledge your struggles without judgment, to give yourself grace, and to remind yourself that you are doing the best you can with the resources you have. Another important aspect of cultivating self-worth is finding meaning in your experiences. When you're navigating life without support, it's easy to feel like you're just surviving, like you're stuck in a cycle of challenges with no end in sight. But even in the midst of struggle, there is meaning to be found. It's in the lessons you learn, the strength you build, and the resilience you develop. It's in the moments of growth that come from facing and overcoming challenges. When you can find meaning in your experiences, it becomes easier to see your struggles not as a reflection of your worth, but as part of your journey toward becoming the person you are meant to be. Ultimately, the journey to embracing your self-worth is about reclaiming your narrative. It's about recognizing that you are not defined by your circumstances, your past, or the opinions of others. You are defined by the choices you make, the values you hold, and the person you strive to be. It's about taking ownership of your story and writing it in a way that reflects your strength, your courage, and your worth. This journey is not without its challenges. There will be moments of doubt, moments when you feel like giving up, moments when the weight of it all feels too heavy to bear. But in those moments, remember this: your worth is not up for debate. It is not contingent on your circumstances or the approval of others. It is a fundamental part of who you are. And no matter how difficult the journey may be, it is a journey worth taking. Because at the end of it, you will find not just a stronger sense of self-worth, but a deeper understanding of your own power and potential. And that is a gift that no one can take away from you. Relationships are the intricate threads that weave the fabric of human existence, yet they are often the most challenging aspects of life to navigate. For a woman fighting her silent battles without support, the complexity of relationships takes on a heightened significance. The lack of a reliable foundation or emotional sanctuary can make relationships feel like a double-edged sword, both a source of longing and a potential avenue for pain. It is in this space of vulnerability that the deepest truths about relationships and their impact on one's life come to light. At the core of any meaningful relationship lies the interplay between independence and interdependence. When someone is alone in their struggles, the idea of leaning on another person can feel both essential and terrifying. It's easy to imagine relationships as a refuge, a safe haven where the storms of life are softened by the presence of another. And while this is partly true, it's also a narrow view of what relationships demand and provide. True connection isn't built on one person sheltering the other. It's built on two individuals standing strong on their own and choosing to walk alongside each other. There is immense power in understanding that your value in a relationship doesn't come from being indispensable to someone else, nor from relying on them to fill the gaps in your soul. Instead, it comes from the strength and completeness you bring as an individual. Relationships flourish not when two incomplete people seek to become whole through each other, but when two whole individuals choose to complement one another. This truth can be particularly hard to embrace for someone who has felt unsupported, as the yearning for someone to alleviate the burden can obscure the importance of developing self-reliance first. One of the greatest challenges in relationships is the balance between vulnerability and self-preservation. To connect deeply with another person, you must open yourself up, revealing your fears, your dreams, and the raw edges of your soul. Yet, for someone who has navigated life's hardships without a safety net, this openness can feel perilous. The question arises, how can you trust someone with your heart when you've had to build walls to survive? The answer lies in discernment, learning to recognize when vulnerability is a gift and when it is a risk. Not everyone who enters your life deserves access to the depths of your being. It's not about being guarded or detached, it's about being wise. Wisdom in relationships comes from understanding that trust must be earned, not given blindly. It means observing how someone reacts to your moments of weakness and celebrating your moments of strength. It's about looking for reciprocity, not perfection, and valuing someone who is willing to grow with you rather than someone who expects you to bend to their will. This discernment is a skill, one that requires patience, self-awareness, and the willingness to let go of relationships that do more harm than good. It's a difficult skill to master, especially when the fear of loneliness looms large. But the strength to walk away from what doesn't serve you is the same strength that will attract connections grounded in mutual respect and understanding. Another profound challenge for someone without external support is resisting the temptation to settle. When the road has been long and the battles unrelenting, the allure of any semblance of companionship can be overwhelming. But settling out of fear or desperation only leads to relationships that sap your energy rather than replenish it. It's crucial to recognize that being alone is far less damaging than being in a relationship that undermines your growth or belittles your worth. True companionship doesn't ask you to shrink or compromise your essence, it celebrates and amplifies who you are. The silent battles you fight without support often cultivate a unique resilience and clarity. These qualities can become your greatest allies in forming relationships that enrich your life. Resilience gives you the courage to stand alone when necessary, ensuring that you never lose yourself in the quest for connection. Clarity helps you see relationships for what they truly are, a space to grow, to learn, and to share your journey with someone who values the person you are becoming. At its core, the essence of a meaningful relationship is choice. It's the choice to enter a partnership not out of a desire to sire, but out of a desire to share your strength and joy with another person. It's the choice to give and receive love in a way that uplifts rather than diminishes. And it's the choice to walk away from anything that doesn't align with your values, no matter how difficult or lonely that path might feel in the moment. When relationships are approached with this sense of purpose and intentionality, they become more than just a reprieve from life's struggles. They become a source of profound growth, a reflection of the love and respect you've cultivated for yourself. They become partnerships in the truest sense of the word, a joining of two individuals who stand strong together, not because they need each other to stand, but because they choose to. This is the kind of relationship worth striving for, the kind that makes all the silent battles worthwhile. The ability to persevere through challenges, particularly when you're navigating life without external support, is a testament to the profound strength of the human spirit. However, perseverance in isolation carries a unique weight. It's not merely about enduring hardship, it's about finding the inner resources to confront adversity head on when no one else is standing in your corner. This type of perseverance isn't just resilience in action, it's a reflection of a person's deepest character. It shows what you're made of when there's no applause, no recognition, and no one to lean on but yourself. To persevere alone requires a kind of honesty with yourself that many people never fully confront. It's easy to look outward for validation or to seek others to affirm your worth and guide your choices. But when you're alone in the battle, you're forced to face the raw truth of who you are and what you're capable of. There's no escape from the reflection in the mirror, no distraction from the weight of your own decisions. This confrontation with yourself can be painful, but it's also an opportunity for incredible growth. It's in these moments of solitude and struggle that you learn who you are at your core, beyond the noise and influence of the outside world. What becomes apparent in the process of solitary perseverance is the necessity of structure and discipline. Without support systems to fall back on, it becomes crucial to establish your own routines and frameworks to keep yourself moving forward. Discipline isn't just about rigid schedules or forcing yourself through tasks you dislike. It's about creating an environment in which you can thrive despite the challenges you face. It's about recognizing that consistency in small, everyday actions is what builds the foundation for long-term success. When you have no external accountability, self-discipline becomes your lifeline. It's the tool that allows you to overcome inertia, maintain focus, and build momentum, even in the face of overwhelming odds. Equally important is the capacity to find meaning in your struggles. Without a sense of purpose, perseverance can feel like an endless grind, a futile effort to push through a life devoid of direction. Meaning doesn't have to come from grand or lofty ideals. It can be found in the simplest acts of persistence, in the small victories that remind you of your strength. It might be as subtle as the realization that you've survived another day, or as profound as discovering a newfound skill or passion that sustains you. Finding meaning in your struggles transforms them from mere obstacles into stepping stones on the path to something greater. It gives you a reason to keep going, even when the weight of it all feels unbearable. Another aspect of solitary perseverance is learning to distinguish between what is within your control and what is not. When you're navigating challenges alone, it's easy to feel overwhelmed by the sheer number of things that seem to demand your attention. But not everything is yours to fix, and not every problem is yours to solve. Recognizing this distinction is liberating. It allows you to focus your energy on what you can change and let go of what you cannot. This isn't about resignation or apathy, it's about clarity. It's about channeling your efforts into areas where you can make a tangible difference, rather than exhausting yourself trying to control the uncontrollable. Solitary perseverance also teaches you the value of self-compassion. When you're alone in your struggles, it's easy to become your harshest critic. You may berate yourself for not doing enough, not being strong enough, not having it all together. But this kind of self-criticism only compounds the difficulties you face. Self-compassion, on the other hand, allows you to acknowledge your struggles without judgment. It reminds you that you're human, that you're doing the best you can with the resources you have. Self-compassion isn't about making excuses or avoiding responsibility. It's about treating yourself with the same kindness and understanding you would offer to someone you love. It's about recognizing that your worth isn't diminished by your struggles, but rather illuminated by your ability to endure them. The ability to persevere through life's challenges without support is not just a testament to your strength, it's a reflection of your character. It shows that you have the courage to face the world as it is, rather than as you wish it to be. It demonstrates that you are willing to take responsibility for your life, even when the odds are stacked against you. And perhaps most importantly, it reveals your capacity for growth. Because every time you persevere, every time you overcome, you become a stronger, wiser, and more resilient version of yourself. This kind of growth isn't always visible to others, and it often goes unacknowledged. But it doesn't need external validation to be real. The strength you build through solitary perseverance is a quiet strength, one that doesn't demand recognition but speaks volumes in the way you carry yourself and approach the world. It's a strength that will serve you in ways you can't yet imagine, and it's a strength that no one can take away from you. In the end, that strength is its own reward, a reminder that no matter what life throws your way, you have the power to endure and the courage to rise above it. A woman facing her silent battles without support often finds herself in a position where every decision she makes feels like a calculated risk. She is the architect of her survival, constructing a life from the fractured pieces of her circumstances while shouldering responsibilities that can feel insurmountable. The solitude of this journey forces a profound introspection, an unyielding encounter with herself that few ever truly understand. Yet this solitude, this space devoid of external validation, can become the crucible in which the strongest, authentic version of herself is forged. At the heart of such a battle lies the need to cultivate inner strength. This isn't the kind of strength that boasts or seeks attention, but the quiet resilience that enables her to endure, adapt, and overcome. It's the ability to face uncertainty with courage and to confront fear without allowing it to dictate her choices. This strength is born not from comfort but from challenge. It emerges through hardship in the moments where the only option is to press forward or succumb. And while the process may feel isolating, the transformation it brings is extraordinary. Each challenge faced and overcome becomes a testament to her fortitude, a reminder that she is capable of more than she ever believed. But strength alone is not enough. The battle also demands clarity of vision and unwavering sense of purpose that acts as a compass, guiding her through the chaos. Without a clear sense of direction, it's easy to become lost in the immediacy of struggles, to be overwhelmed by the sheer weight of daily survival. A woman in this position must ask herself, what am I fighting for? What do I want my life to stand for? These questions, though daunting, provide a foundation upon which she can build her resilience. They allow her to anchor herself in a purpose that transcends her immediate circumstances, offering a sense of meaning even in the face of adversity. Part of this clarity comes from understanding the power of choice. In the midst of her struggles, she may feel as though her options are limited, her path dictated by forces beyond her control. Yet, even in the smallest decisions, there lies the potential to assert her agency. Choosing to confront a challenge rather than avoid it, to seek growth rather than stagnation, to hold on to hope even when despair seems more logical, these choices, though seemingly minor, accumulate into a profound act of self-determination. They reaffirm her ability to shape her own destiny, no matter how constrained her circumstances may appear. Another key element in navigating such battles is the cultivation of self-respect. When faced with a lack of external support, there's a temptation to internalize the belief that one's worth is diminished, that the absence of help or validation reflects a deficiency in oneself. This is a lie, one that must be confronted and dismantled. A woman's worth is not contingent on the opinions or actions of others. It resides within her, inherent and unshakable. Embracing this truth requires courage, as it often means rejecting societal narratives that suggest otherwise. But once internalized, it becomes a source of incredible power, a reminder that her value is not up for debate. Self-respect also demands boundaries. It's the recognition that not all relationships, opportunities, or paths are worth pursuing. A woman battling silently without support cannot afford to expend her energy on people or pursuits that drain her spirit or compromise her integrity. Boundaries are not walls, they are filters, allowing in only what aligns with her values and contributes to her growth. Establishing and maintaining these boundaries is an act of self-preservation, a declaration that her well-being is a priority, not an afterthought. And then there is the role of hope. In the darkest moments when the weight of her struggles feels unbearable, hope becomes the lifeline that keeps her moving forward. Hope is not naive optimism or blind faith. It's the belief that the future holds the possibility of something better, that her efforts are not in vain. Hope is what allows her to dream, to envision a life beyond the constraints of her current circumstances. It's the fuel that sustains her when every other resource feels depleted. Finally, there is the necessity of self-compassion. In a world that often equates strength with perfection, it can be difficult to grant oneself grace. Yet, self-compassion is essential for enduring the long, arduous battle of life without support. It's the recognition that mistakes are part of the journey, that setbacks do not define her worth. Self-compassion allows her to celebrate her victories, no matter how small, and to forgive herself for the moments when she falls short. It reminds her that she is human, deserving of kindness and understanding, even from herself. The silent battle of a woman without support is not a narrative of defeat. It is a story of extraordinary resilience, growth, and transformation. It is a testament to the strength of the human spirit, to the capacity for growth, even in the harshest conditions. And though the journey may be solitary, its lessons ripple outward, shaping not only her life but the lives of those she touches. For in her perseverance, she becomes a beacon, a living reminder that even in the face of overwhelming odds, it is possible to rise, to thrive, and to create a life of meaning and purpose. In the silent battle of a woman with no support, we find a profound testament to the resilience of the human spirit. Her journey, though solitary, is one of incredible strength, clarity, and transformation. It reveals the power of self-respect, discipline, and hope, showing that even in the face of overwhelming odds, it is possible to rise above, create meaning, and thrive. This battle is not just about survival, it is about becoming. It is about discovering the depths of one's character and building a life rooted in purpose, self-compassion, and unwavering resolve. Such a journey, though challenging, is a story of triumph that inspires not only the individual, but also those who witness her strength.